Namaste, my name is Jyoti Daya and welcome to Learning with JD. So in today's session we are going to cover the entire process mapping. If you can see, I have a whiteboard here and I have tried to create some boxes around here. So the 5 important process groups that we have: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closure. So these are the 5 process groups that we are going to talk today. We've already spoken about them in isolation in the previous videos. You can go back on my channel and look at them. But in today's video, we are typically going to talk about the entire process flow. Now this is one of the most complicated perspective. If you are just able to grab this, get this, then most of the part is going to be simple for you. So we will do one thing, we will take one by one. We will of course start with initiating first and coming to closing. So let's begin, and in case if you have any queries after the video, please drop me a comment. I'll be happy to come back to you with a resolution. So let's begin. Alright, so the first thing that the project manager has to ensure that the project charter is ready. So let's start, and now let's start jotting down. I also suggest that while we are doing this, I request you also to start preparing the chart along with me while you are reviewing this video, because it's going to be easy for you to understand it at a later end also. Yeah? Alright, so as you can see, I have created these boxes here for an easy reference. So the first process here is in initiating is develop project charter. Now while the project charter is ready for the reference of the project manager, and now the project manager knows that he has a job and he has the responsibility of fulfilling this project, the first thing that he will do is going to identify who his stakeholders are. Now this is a very tricky thing here, right? Because when you are preparing for your PMP examination, when you will be reading the PMBOK, you will realize that integration, that is developing a project charter, is a part of chapter 4. But Jyoti is here suggesting you that immediately after developing the project charter, you need to identify your stakeholder. How is that going to be possible? Because identify stakeholder is a part of chapter 13, which is absolutely fine. In PMBOK, it is mentioned knowledge area wise. However, we want to study as per process group wise. It is the same thing. But it's going to be easier for you to understand, because in your real life also, this is how you work, right? You will not first develop a project charter, then work on the project and then close the project and then again come back and identify the scope. No, right? So this is how you will work in your real life scenario. Now after you have created the project charter, we said that what do you have to do? We have to identify stakeholder. Now this is the second process of initiating, and the first process of stakeholder, knowledge area stakeholder. So we say we identify stakeholders. Alright, now let's move towards the planning process. Now starting with the planning process. Now within the planning process, what is the main and the most important process here? Of course, all the processes are important, but while you talk about all the processes, all of them work in isolation, all of them work in fragmented manner. The role of a project manager is to get all of them together. When you talk about together, it is integration. Whichever project you work upon, the first part is the integration, and then all the other knowledge area components come and reside within the integration process group. So we are talking here about integration first, and we say that it sits in the center of the planning, and hence develop project management plan. Now, develop project management plan component is a part of the integration knowledge area. That process ensures that all the other processes and all the other planning that you do comes and resides within this develop project management plan. This process. Alright, moving on. So what is the first thing do you think that you will be doing after, the first thing that you want to do after identifying your stakeholder? So in the previous sessions we've already spoken, planning is all about how the work will be done, how are you going to collect information, how are you going to develop your cost management plan. Everything is all about how. So the first thing that we are going to do is all about the scope. So within the first part I'm saying plan, scope, management. Which means how are you going to manage your scope will be a part of this process. Yeah. After mentioning plan, scope, management, what are you going to do? In the planning stage, you are going to collect the requirements. Now, what are the requirements of the stakeholder is a part of this process. You will collect your requirements. Yeah? So you plan how will you manage your scope, then you collect your requirements. After collecting the requirements, what is it that you will do? You will define your scope. So you will define scope. Now these are all the components of the part of chapter 5, which is scope management. All the other components of scope will also come under monitoring and executing and closing. But for now we are just talking about planning. And after defining the scope, you are going to create WBS. Now what are WBS? WBS are components. These are more manageable. Project manager is able to assign specific work packages to a team or to an individual for managing and monitoring. Yeah. So these are work packages. So 4 components of the scope. All these are interdependent on each other. So when I am saying interdependent means that these will all keep on updating. These may all have a dependency on each other. Now this will create, now this entire part, this is a part of scope. This will all get into project management plan. And vice versa also, because there can be other components which will have an impact, which are a part of project management plan and will come and impact your scope. Yeah. So that's about the scope part of it. Now once you have done the scope, what is the next thing that you think that you will have to work on? That is chapter 6. It is about schedule. You will plan, schedule, management, which means that you are going to ensure that you mention here that how you are going to plan your schedule. Yeah, all the how-to part is going to be a part of plan, schedule, management. After plan, schedule, management comes define activity. Now this is a carry forward of the WBS that you have already created here. So can you see the link here? You first define your scope, you plan your scope management, then you collect requirement, you define the scope and create WBS. After creating the WBS, you will define your activities. Meanwhile, you will also create your schedule management plan. Yeah. After defining the activities, you are going to sequence the activities, because there can be a possibility that there will be thousands of activities. How would you ever know which activity needs to be done first and that which needs to be done later? Then you are going to sequence your activities. Got that? You develop your schedule management plan, you define activities, and then you sequence activities. Then you will estimate, because we are talking about time your schedule, you will estimate your activity duration. What is this? What is activity duration? How much time, because we are talking about schedule here, how much time will one activity take? That is about activity duration. Got that? Now after that, you are going to develop your schedule. The way we developed a scope here, we defined a scope. Similarly, you are going to develop your schedule. Develop schedule. These are the 5 components of time. Now this entire part of sequence of schedule will also get into your develop project management plan. This will all get into your develop project management plan, right? Because project management plan integrates everything together. So it gets everything together. We've done scope, we've done schedule, now we are going to do the third important aspect, that is cost. Now similarly, and I'm going to repeat it all the time, that we are going to do plan, cost, management. You are going to mention how are you going to manage your cost. How will you estimate, how will you determine the budget, how are you going to control the cost, how will you ensure it doesn't go more than what it was, fixed. All that will be a part of your plan, cost, management. Then comes your estimate cost. Now you see we estimated the activity duration here. Now when you are estimating your cost also, you are going to do it at an activity level. Yeah? So we are going to estimate cost. And the third important thing that we will do is we are going to determine the budget as to what is the final budget for which is required for our project. We are going to determine budget. If you see, we defined our scope here, then we developed the schedule, and now we have determined what is the budget also. As the other processes, this knowledge area of cost will also get into the develop project management plan. Yeah. Now after determining the cost, another thing that you have to do is you have to determine and you have to plan for your quality. Now here the quality is not only for the project, it is even for the product. The product is the outcome, what you are going to deliver to the customer. So we are going to plan quality management. Plan quality management. And after planning the quality, we are also going to finalize on the resources. Remember we spoke about resources while we were talking about planning. Resources doesn't only mean humans. Till edition 5 it was known as human resources. It's a new process where the physical resources are also a part of this process group, right? So under the knowledge area resources, we first need to plan the resources. So we are saying plan resource management. And then we will estimate activity resources. Got that? So we are saying that what all have we covered till now? We have finalized on the scope. We planned the scope, we collected requirement, we defined the scope, and we created WBS. Keep it aside. I mean as a part of the project management plan. Then we planned the schedule, we defined the activities. Activities are a further decomposition of WBS. We define the activities, we sequence the activities, then we are saying we estimate activity duration. We did all these and then we developed the schedule. After developing the schedule, we put it under the project management plan. 2 components are done. Then we move on to the cost part. We do the plan, cost management, estimate cost and determine cost. There are 3 processes under cost. Put it as a part of the develop project management plan. And then another 2 components, we looked at the quality and resources. Now these also will be a part of this will also come into project management plan. This will also be combined and will be a part of the project management plan. Now if you see, I always put 2 arrows. Why? Because it always has an interaction. It will not be a one way that you've created your resources and you just send it across to the develop project management plan and nothing happens after that. No. It always is an up and down. There will be some change in the scope, there will be some change in the schedule, and your resources will be impacted accordingly. Yeah, so it's a 2-way communication. Then also after doing your resources, another component that you will now be touching upon is communication. So you plan communication management. Now, communication management is very closely related to stakeholders, right? You have to identify your stakeholder and then you have to create your communication management plan. Now, this will also be a part of your project management plan. Yeah. After doing your communication, we come to a very vast knowledge area, which is risk. Risk has 5 components. A, you plan your risk. Similarly, the way we plan for all other, we plan for our risk as well. So you plan your risk management. After planning for your risk management, what is it that you do? As a project manager, you need to first understand what are the risks on your project. So you need to identify your risk. Once you identify the risk, you are going to perform 2 types of analysis on that, qualitative and quantitative. So say perform. First you do a qualitative check, qualitative risk assessment, analysis basically, and then you do perform quantitative. Here you put a number to it. We will see this in detail when we are in the knowledge area. Risk assessment. Now when you have done your plan risk management and identified the risk and done a qualitative and a quantitative risk assessment, after that you are going to plan your risk responses. You plan your risk responses. Now again, all these together, all of them will be a part of your project management plan. Got that? So you first say that how you are going to manage your risk. Then you identify your risk. You do qualitative and quantitative risk analysis on the identified risk, and then you are going to plan the risk response, which means that if the risk occurs, how are you going to manage that risk? What will be your response to that risk? Got that? Let's move on. So we have two more, and guess what this is? So this is procurement and stakeholder. So the first thing that you're going to do is plan your procurement. So you say you plan procurement management. This will again be a part of your develop project management plan. Now what does plan procurement management include? How are you going to select the vendor? What will be the payment terms? How are you going to manage the control of it? What will be the monitoring methodologies? All that will be a part of the plan procurement management for the third party management. Yeah. And then the last but not the least is your plan stakeholder engagement. This will also fall into your develop project management plan. I'm putting a star mark here, very very closely associated to plan communication. Yeah? Alright, so let's quickly revise the planning process once. You are going to plan your scope first. So plan scope management, then you talk about the schedule, you plan schedule management. So in scope, what are you going to do? You're going to collect requirement, define the scope, create WBS. Done? So WBS means your requirement that whatever you have selected and you've defined your scope, you've come to a level at a work package level. Yeah? Which is create WBS. Then in schedule, you're going to plan your schedule and you will also define the activities. Once you define activities, you have to sequence them also. You have to know which activity to be done first and what activity to be done later. Then you will estimate the activity duration, which means for which activity, each activity, how much time will you take. After you do that, you will develop your schedule. Now your schedule is ready. Your project is 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, whatever. After doing that, you jump to your cost because you finalize your scope, your schedule, you are not aware about how much will be the cost. For your cost, you of course plan cost management, which is a subsidiary plan of the project management plan. Then you estimate the cost. When you estimate the cost, you estimate it at an activity level. Here also you are doing it at an activity level. Once you do it at an activity level, you aggregate all of them and you create your budget. One important thing, let me just tell you here that management reserves is a part of determined budget, the part of the project budget. But contingency reserves is a part of your cost baseline. So this is here is where the scope of this is where the sponsor will also play some role. Yeah, we'll see when we are going to do the cost knowledge area. Then we will finalize on the quality. We will have our plan quality management. We will have a plan resource management, and along with that we will also estimate the activity resources. Now you remember the activity that we created here, define activity on which we first added the duration, then we added the cost. Now you will also add the resource required. Remember, not only human resources but also physical resources. Whether you need a factory, you need a warehouse, you need softwares, whatever. Then you are going to plan your communication. How will you communicate with all the stakeholders, right? That is a part of plan communication management. What methodologies are you going to use for communication? After communication, you're going to identify your risk. It's the biggest chunk here. So plan risk management. Of course, you plan your risk first. Then you identify what are the risks on your project, right? After doing that, you will perform qualitative and quantitative risk analysis on the identified risk. You will understand which risk is more important for you to manage. How will you do that? It can be a possibility that the probability of a risk occurring is high but the impact is low. And there can also be a scenario that the probability of a risk getting impacted by a probability of the risk happening is very low but the impact is very high. So accordingly, you have to manage your risk responses. Then comes your plan risk responses. All these components again together gets into the develop project management plan. Then the last two components for procurement and stakeholders. Procurement you are going to do for all the third party relationships that you are going to have. Now whether it is insurance, whether it is giving up some job to somebody else, that's all going to come under part of plan procurement management. And the last one under the planning process is plan stakeholder engagement. I put a star mark here and I put a star mark here because plan stakeholder engagement is very closely related to plan communication management. Got that? Alright, so let's move on to the next process group, that is execution. So we've initiated a project, we've planned for it quite well. Now let's start the project. Alright, now for an execution perspective, again, as we started with our planning also, we started with the integration process and integration knowledge area. Similarly, we are going to do it for our execution also because integration is something that gets everything together. So the first process under integration, we are going to put it right in the center, is direct and manage project work. So this is the knowledge area. This is the process that ensures that all the project work is being done. So direct and manage project work. Can you understand what do I mean here when I say direct and manage? See, that is the key job of a project manager. Is the project manager going to do the entire project work by himself? No. He will have a team. He has to direct the team as to this needs to be done, and he has to manage the team also. That how is the work being done? Right? So that is the key job and it's a part of the integration knowledge area. Then we talk about manage project knowledge. Now this is again a new process that has been added as a part of the 6th edition. Now you can take this as your lessons learned. This is more like lessons learned. All the project knowledge area that you may get from your organization or you can give back to your organization is also a part of managed project knowledge. Then what you are going to do is, the first thing that you need to do for your execution is, you need a team, right? So the first thing that you will do is you will go to acquire your team. So you will acquire team. Now you have acquired the team, and what else are you going to do out of the team? There are two components that you need to manage. You need to manage team and you need to develop the team. So after acquiring the team, you will develop team. And then you will manage team. Now this entire component, all the three parts, the way we did it in our planning as well, all the three components will get into the direct and manage project work. Because within this, it shows that you've acquired your team first, you develop and manage the team. So after your team work is done, what are you going to do next? You are going to manage the quality. Because the quality of the product that you are going to create should also be as per the plan. So you will manage quality. Right? So are you going to manage your quality at the time of monitoring or after the work is done? No, you will not do that. You will do at the execution level itself. While the work is happening, while you are directing and managing your team to work on the project, you will also manage your quality. Now after managing your quality, you are also going to manage your communication. So whatever communication needs to be sent to whoever, you are going to manage in this particular section. So you will manage your communication. Along with managing your communication, whatever you had planned, that if the risk occurs, so in case if the risk occurs, you need to implement that risk response. Whatever you have mentioned here, right? You planned for your risk, you identified your risk, and then you had some responses planned for it. So in case if the risk happens, you will implement your risk response. Implement risk response. Yeah. Then you will also conduct your procurement. Whatever you have third party relationships, you have to conduct those procurement. So you will conduct procurement. And you will also manage your stakeholders. Manage stakeholder engagement. So all these components of your communication, your risk, your procurement, and your stakeholder, everything will get into this part of integration. Yeah. So what are we doing? So let's quickly revise in the execution. What did we do in the execution phase? So we finished initiating, we finished planning, now we are on executing. The key part of executing in the integration knowledge area is direct and manage project work and manage project knowledge. This is where the exact work is happening, whatever was planned for. Along with these two components, there are different components that you need to take care at the execution phase itself. One is you need to ensure that your team is acquired. You acquire your team, you develop the team. What do you mean by developing the team? You give them training, skills, whatever they need, right? Then you are going to manage the team. What do you mean by manage the team? Managing team is one-to-one relationship. Develop team is developing the entire team. The entire team goes out for an offsite. Entire team goes out for dinner. The entire team that gets training. But managed team, when you talk about, it's one-to-one. One person has to go on leave. One person has fallen sick. One person has left the job. That's about managed team. All these components falls into the integration part here. Then you need to manage your quality. You will not want to leave the entire project. Finish the entire project and then do it at the time of monitoring and controlling. You will do it at the execution phase itself. After managing the quality, you will manage the communication, whatever it was finalized here, as to this person needs to receive the report, or this person has to suggest us on some quality methods. All this will be part of the managed communication, which means you are actually doing the communication. Then you implement your risk responses. At the time of planning, you have planned some risk responses. Whatever risk response has been planned, here is where you are going to implement them. Got that? Then you are going to conduct your procurement. Whatever you had planned, where's your procurement here? So your planned procurement management, whatever you had mentioned here, is what you are going to put as a part of the integration. And again, you are managing the stakeholder engagement. Whatever relationship that you have maintained with the stakeholder, whichever has been planned, you have to manage here. You will not do it at the later stage. You will do it there and there itself when you are under the execution phase. Got that? Alright. So let's now move on to monitoring and controlling. Now coming to monitoring and controlling, as we did for all the other processes, we are going to do for monitoring and controlling as well. We will start with integration. That's right. The first process under monitoring and controlling is monitoring and controlling project work. The way you were directing and managing the project work here at the time of execution, here as a project manager, your job is to monitor and control the project work. Now this will again be a part of the integration because it gets everything together. So monitor and control project work. Yeah? So monitoring and controlling your project work is the first component. Coming to the next component, the second one is perform integrated change control. I'm putting a star here. This is very important because all the changes will be a part of the perform integrated change control. Perform integrated change control. We also call it as PICC. PICC, Perform Integrated Change Control, is the process where all the changes will be managed. Yeah. Now this is a part of the integration process. Now everything else that we are going to do will come and reside under the integration. Now what is the first thing that you are going to do as a part of the monitor and control? You will first validate your scope. You will validate scope. After validating the scope, which means that you are going to check. Validation is what? Only checking. So you will check whether whatever scope has been planned here and is being executed here is as per the plan. Yeah? Which means that if there is any change or if there is any variance, you are going to control the scope. When you validate your scope, you will control the scope. After controlling the scope, that it doesn't go out of the plan part of it, you are going to control your schedule. After controlling the schedule, what is the third important part that we are going to do? We are going to control the cost. So when you say control, what is it that you are doing? You are going to check the variances. You will check if in terms of the scope, schedule and cost, is your project as per the plan. Whatever has been planned, whatever is mentioned in developed schedule, whatever is mentioned in determined budget, whatever is mentioned as a part of defined scope, is this as per, is the execution done as per the plan, and this is not going beyond. That is what is known as monitoring and controlling. Yeah. After defining these three, you are also going to control your quality, which means that here when you are managing your quality, whatever your quality outputs are, you are going to control here. Yeah. After controlling your quality, you are going to also control your resources. All the resources that you have with you, which includes your physical resources as well as human resources, you are going to control all of them. You are going to control all the resources. Then you are going to also monitor your communication. Whether the communication, whichever person was supposed to receive the communication, has it been sent to the same person or to somebody else? All that is a part of monitoring and controlling. Then you will also monitor your risk. Monitor risk means what? That there were certain risk responses. Have you implemented them? A. B. Are there new risk which is coming up? All that will also be a part of monitor risk. After monitoring the risk, you will also control your procurement. All all the third party relationships is something that needs to be controlled and managed. And then you will also monitor stakeholder engagement. Yeah? So you will monitor your stakeholder engagement. Now these are the key components that you are going to manage during your monitoring and controlling. All of them will be going, so this entire part of scope will move into the integration, schedule, cost, quality, resources, communication, risk, procurement and stakeholder. All of them will unite together and will be a part of the integration. As a project manager, this is your key profile to integrate all the pieces together. Yeah? Then, so this is all about monitoring and controlling. Now let's have a look at the closing part. Now closing process group has only one process. This one process is a part of integration, very obvious, because everything comes together and resides under integration. Now this is the only one process which a project manager has to ensure that he closes properly. All the lessons learned, everything, all the updates to the OPAs will be a part of the closing process group. This is close project or phase. It can even be a possibility that there is a closing of the phase. Got that? Alright. So let's revise. Do we want to revise once? Yeah? Let's just quickly revise. Alright, so here is the entire flow of all the 49 processes that is important from your PMBOK 6th edition perspective and important from your examination perspective also. Let's start and let me give you a quick perspective as to how you will understand the entire part. Yeah. So you will start two process groups. There is develop project charter and there is identify the stakeholder. Develop project charter is primarily the responsibility of the sponsor, but the project manager and the sponsor may also create it in conjunction, or the sponsor may also delegate the job to the project manager. Then after you create the project charter, you have to identify the stakeholders. Who are the key stakeholders that you work with, right? So you identify the stakeholders. After identifying the stakeholder, your initiating process group ends and your planning process group begins. Within the planning process group, the key and the center of the entire planning is the integration part. The developed project management plan is the part of the integration knowledge area. Now all the other components, all the other different processes will combine together and be part of the integration part, which is the developed project management plan. You start with planning your scope. For every subsidiary knowledge areas that we have, we will create a plan dash management, which is plan scope management, plan cost management, plan schedule management. So now we are starting with scope. So plan scope management, you will first manage, you're going to first plan how you're going to manage your scope. Then you're going to collect the requirement. After collecting the requirement, you will define the scope as to what your entire scope is all about. And you're going to create WBS. Now once you create the WBS, your entire scope is at a level where a person or a team can manage it. Moving forward from the scope, you directly jump to schedule. In schedule, you will obviously plan schedule management. From your plan schedule management, you're going to define your activities. Now this defined activity is going to be further down of the WBS. You're going to further create smaller activities for the team to manage well. After defining the activities, you are going to sequence the activities, because you will obviously not know which activity needs to be done first and which needs to be done later. So you will sequence. Now please try to understand this very clearly and from a very layman language perspective, that you are doing your project. You have defined your scope, you have defined your activities, you have sequenced the activity. Now for each activity, how much time that each activity will take is something what is known as estimate activity duration. Now this is a different document that creates under the planning process. Now estimate activity duration gives you how much time each activity will take. After that, you will develop your schedule. Basis that you will develop your schedule. You now know your project of this scope will take 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever. Yeah. After the scheduling, you will jump to the cost component, because you obviously need to know how much will be the cost of the project. So when you move into the cost component, you will say plan cost management. Your plan cost management is nothing but the document, it's a subsidiary document of the project management plan, which will tell you that how are you going to manage your cost. You estimate the cost. Now this estimation of the cost is again at the activity level. You remember this document that you created at the time of schedule, where you say you define your activity and you define the duration of each activity. Now you are going to put the cost of that each activity, where you are going to say estimate cost. And then you are going to determine your budget. How will you determine the budget? You will aggregate the entire cost that you've taken at the activity level. You will put some contingency reserves on that, reserves for the risk that may or may not occur, and then you will determine the budget. Okay. After determining the budget, you have to plan for your quality as to what is the level of quality of the project as well as the product. We are also talking about the product here. Yeah. So you plan your quality management. After managing the plan quality, you will then talk about the resources. Understand, your resources does not mean only human resources. This is also your physical resources. So you plan your resource management. Yeah. And you plan your resource management, and then you are going to also put resources at an activity level. Remember all these activities that you are working on? Now you are going to put the name of the people or whatever physical resource you need for each activity. Now after doing that, you are going to plan your communication. We've put a star here, which means that planned communication is very closely related to stakeholder by engagement. Whatever engagement you will have with all the stakeholders that you have identified, the planned communication is a very closely and tightly processed group. Then after your communication, you are going to plan your procurement management. Procurement is for all the third party relationships that you have. You're going to have your planned procurement, and you're going to have your planned stakeholder expectation. Now if you see, there is a very large component that I have kept it for the last, is your risk. Yeah. You need to identify, you have to first plan for the risk as to if the risk occurs, how you are going to manage it. What is the plan for the risk? You need to identify the risk on the project. Because at this point of time, you know what the scope is, you know the schedule, you know the cost, you know the resources, you know the communication. So you should know what will be the known risk for your project. You will identify those risks. Then you will do two types of risk analysis on that. You may do a qualitative or you may do a quantitative risk analysis. After you do that, you plan your. After you do that, you will plan your risk responses. Risk responses means that how will you manage a particular risk? What will be your response if the risk occurs? Risk is a very unknown type of a thing. Now you may not know that if the risk will occur or not occur, right? Which is known as known unknown. That you know there is a risk, but you don't know whether it will occur or not occur. You need to plan the responses accordingly for those particular risks. Yeah. Now that's all about from the planning perspective. Now once your planning is done and everything is integrated into the developed project management plan, which gives you an output of project management plan, you will start executing of your project. So now coming to the executing part of it. So we've done initiating, now we've done planning, now we'll come to executing. Again, for executing as well, we will start from the center of it. which is the integration process. So while we talk about integration, direct and manage project work and manage project knowledge. So here we know that for a project manager, the key important aspect for a project manager is to direct the team as to how the work needs to be done and manage whether the work is being done as per the plan or no. Now that's the key important part here. Along with these two integration processes, there are 8 other processes which are important from an execution perspective. You need to acquire the team, right? The team who's going to actually work on the project. Once you acquire them, you are going to develop the team. What do you mean by developing the team? Developing the team means you manage the entire team as a whole. The whole team is taking some training. The whole team is getting some, knowledge exchange with some other team member. That is all about develop team. Then once you develop the team, you need to manage the team. Manage the team is all about one-to-one relationship. One person is fallen sick, one person is going to go on leave. That's all about managing the. Then you fall to manage your quality. Now how do you manage your quality? Whatever is mentioned in the planning process group is what you have to ensure that it is getting implemented at this stage. That is what is known as manage quality. Then you also have to manage the communication. You have to manage your stakeholder engagement. All this is going to happen at the time of execution when the work is actually happening. Then you have to implement the risk responses. At the time of planning, there were certain risks that you had planned for. You had mentioned in the plan risk response. Now you have to ensure that whatever was planned, you are now going to implement it. Yeah. Then you have to conduct your procurement. All the third-party relationships that you are going to plan at the planning stage, here is the time when you are actually going to conduct those procurements. Yeah. So that is something from the execution perspective. From an execution, so we've done initiating, we've done planning, we've done execution. Now let's jump to monitoring and controlling. So from monitoring and controlling perspective, we again start from the integration part, which is right in the center. Monitor and control the project work. Now the way you are ensuring during execution in terms of direct and manage project work, here you have to ensure, monitor and control project work. Another aspect of integration is the perform integrated change control, PICC. PICC ensures that all the changes to your project goes through this process group. I've put a star here, which means it's very important from your examination perspective that PICC is the process which ensures all the changes are implemented on your project. So along the integration process of monitor and control project work and PICC, there are all the other stuff that will happen. Now what is the first thing that you will do when you want to monitor on your project? You will validate the scope. Whatever scope you had planned, whatever schedule you had planned, whatever cost you had planned, and whatever you executed, monitoring and controlling phase ensures that you validate all of them. So you validate the scope. Once you validate the scope with the planning and the executing, you will control all the other subsidiary plans. You will control scope, you will control your schedule, you will control your cost. You have to ensure that your scope and schedule and cost is within the timeline and within the cost and within the scope, whatever was finalized at the time of planning. Similarly, you also have to control your quality, right? Whatever you have managed here, you are going to control here. You are going to control your resources, your human resource as well as physical resources. You monitor your communication, whichever person is responsible or whichever person has to get a report, this process helps you monitor your communication. You monitor your risk. You plan for some risk responses, you implemented your risk response, here is where you monitor them. And then you control your procurement, you monitor your stakeholder engagement. So these are the processes from a monitoring and controlling perspective. After you monitor and control, after all the processes are closed and all the documentation is closed, only after that the project manager will move towards closing process group. Closing process group has only one process, which is a part of integration, obviously because integration gets all the elements together, which is close project or phase. Now, close project or phase is a process under which the project manager will write down all the lessons learned, ensure all the third party payouts have been made, ensure all the documents have been closed. It cannot happen that any of the document is open and the project manager do closure. No, it cannot happen. All the documentation has to get closed, and only after that the closed project or phase process can be implemented. So guys, that is it from my end for today's session. I think all these 49 processes is the crux of your PMBOK, the 6th edition. Please ensure that you understand the entire flow like this. At home, take a chart paper, create this entire flow and stick it around the location where you are the most, whether it's your living room or your bedroom. Please try and understand the flow, and it's going to help you, understand the entire project management from PMBOK perspective. Okay. So till then, till we meet in the next session, keep connecting, keep studying, and all the best.